the string! Pull the string!
So top fives are a new thing for me still, but you guys seem to dig them. And, they're kind of fun to knock out, especially during Staunch. But this one was admittingly difficult. This genre, monster movies are part of our culture, even when they're not. And they go back a long way, usually involving sci-fi or some kind of genre mix, and experiencing booms in different decades, being a lasting call to film audiences all the way throughout. So when focusing on my list, liberties I took. To me, a monster movie needs a few things to be considered as such, like a monster, small or big, difficult to kill, pursuing a person or persons, and not necessarily the monster itself being defined or even presented most of the time. That might be a little confusing, but you'll see what I mean. Let's just get started here. Here is my staunch top 5 monster movies. Number 5, Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bolorama, The Imp. Yes, we all agree this movie kicks ass, and yes, it is a monster movie. As part of a sorority ritual, pledges and their male companions steal a trophy from a bowling alley. Unbeknownst to them, it contains a devilish imp who makes their lives a living hell. I think this is Linnea Quigley's best, just for your information. If you ever have to describe camp to anybody, just show them this film. I remember this one giving me funny feelings as a kid, and also scaring the shit out of me for some reason. Not sure why. The imp is kinda lame, but it works here. And, we get a monster with some cool powers and a very unique storyline. It was trapped in a fucking bowling trophy, for Christ's sake. And it makes for a nice little preview of things to come from David D'Accato. Number 4, Monster in the Closet, The Monster.
The entire United States Marine Corps could not stop it. The most sophisticated armored weaponry and firepower could not stop it. Fantastic cinematic special effects could not stop it. Monster in the Closet.
I remember seeing this as a kid, and again, it scared the shit out of me. Somehow, I completely missed the comedy and satire. And, I've always liked this one mainly for the monster's look. It's like the definition of a monster. Bad rubber suit lumbering around, this shit is gold. And upon rewatching it recently, holy shit, it is hilarious. After several people and a dog are found dead in their closets, a mild-mannered reporter, a college professor, her son, and a befuddled professor band together to uncover the mystery. An old friend of mine from high school's dad is actually an extra somewhere here. I think it's near the ending. I couldn't find him, though. I just don't really get a lot from Grandpa Lloyd and his loyal fans, especially nowadays. But here, however this one got made, it is a cornerstone of the monster movie genre and is worth a rewatch. Oh, and this marks the film debut of both Paul Walker and Fergie. Yeah. Number 3, Rumpelstiltskin. I absolutely love this movie. And yeah, I guess it could be included in some other subgenres, and it has that right. I wish, for one, it was part of its own little monster universe with the other films of this type that came out at the time. How awesome would this be? In the 1400s, Rumpelstiltskin is imprisoned inside a small jade figurine. In modern-day Los Angeles, the recently widowed wife of a police officer, with baby in tow, finds her way into a witch's shop and she purchases a certain figurine, resulting in the cackling beast being freed and demanding possession of her baby. The film was actually written and directed by Leprechaun alum Mark Jones. The studio, I'm sure, was hoping to start up another franchise or something, and damn it, there should have been more of these. This movie absolutely rules. Our monster here, Rumpelstiltskin, is menacing, horrifying, and hilarious, but much more no-nonsense than Leprechaun. Rumpy was played by actor Max Grodenchik, who does an amazing job throughout, and there's plenty of gags and menace to go around for any fan of horror or comedy. let's all get this out there more. Come on, this movie rules.
Fuck, it's me!
Number 2, The Rejuvenator. This one was made right in that sweet spot where the creature feature was at its practical effects peak. This was a great time for horror films. A time where every effects house or maestro seemed to be competing for the top spot. And while The Rejuvenator might be an underrated campy classic, it cannot be overlooked as far as the effects work goes here. And the story is also kinda cool, sort of a retelling of The Wasp Woman. A rich actress who has gotten too old for leading roles employs a scientist who is working on a formula for eternal youth. The formula involves withdrawing certain fluids from the human brain. She takes the serum, but its unforeseen side effects turn her into a murderous monster. This is a pretty gory and frightening entry in the genre, in my opinion giving Cronenberg a run for his money. And with the monster taking on multiple forms, the final abomination is truly the stuff of nightmares. Before I get to my number 1 pick, I just want to remind you all to subscribe and hit that little notification bell. The channel has been growing steadily, thank you, but I am still trying to hit that 1,000 sub mark before year's end. Help! Before we get back to the list, here's some honorable mentions. Number 1, The Cellar. This one might be my second favorite Kevin Tenney film. It's definitely the one that made the biggest impact on me, at least. We had this one recorded on VHS tape growing up for some reason and didn't catch the ending, so I went years not knowing how it ended. But it also gave me pretty intense nightmares as a kid, not only due to the monster, but I remember feeling this weird kind of creepiness with the isolated setting and the Native American folklore throughout. A young boy finds an ancient Comanche monster spirit in the basement of his home. His parents don't believe him, so he must kill the monster alone. And being a kid at the time, this really scared the shit out of me. This is a very original take on the low-budget monster movie, and seems to be a personal project for Tenney. And the monster here is pretty menacing when it's shown. And as far as finales go, this one's pretty badass. The Cellar indeed remains an underappreciated classic. And I guess it makes sense, as nearly everything Kevin Tenney touches turns to gold in my opinion. I mean, let me know what are some of your favorite monster movies down in the comments.
Pull the string! Pull the string!